يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وآمنوا برسوله يؤتكم كفلين من رحمته.
And we as parents have to teach our children how to live within means, number one. B, and some of us, mashallah, have a lot of means, alhamdulillah, a lot of rizq. But we have to teach them how to live with little. And specifically, guard them against indulgence. Guard them against indulgence. And it is one of the keys of raising good, piety, having pious children, piety, is guarding against indulgence. That definitely, if we look in our lives, we have more than what we need. We can buy most things that we want. Our fridge is always filled with food. And whatever we want, we can go get. And we have an easy accessibility to it. Easy. If we think about something we want to eat right now, most of us, if not all of us listening, can go get it. Think of something you want to eat. Probably can, if we don't have it in our homes, we probably go out very quickly and get it. Or order it. And it will come to the house. That's an indulgence. Whatever we want to wear. We either have it in our closet, our walk-in closet, or we can get it. That's indulgence. Guarding against that is very, very important. And being satisfied with what you have, being satisfied with what you have is very important. Being satisfied with what you have is something that we need to give to our children and make them understand what exactly living with little is about. Because we can give to our children things that they enjoy. We can give to our children things that they enjoy, things that they're happy with, right? But guard against overindulgence. I should actually put guard against overindulgence. Because if you don't guard against it and you surround them with just things that they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that, but you need them to do this, you need them to do that, and so on. If you only surround them by having things that make them happy and joyful and so on and so forth, and shy away or distribute things that makes them overindulge, right? And don't do those things, what happens then is, what if they find it difficult to wake up for Fajr then? Because it's not enjoyable. Then what happens? Then you have a fight on your hand. Then you have some difficulty. There are things, so developing our children, things that they need to do, that we may not see the benefit in it to ourselves. It may not be something that right now that we feel is enjoyable. We may not feel it. Waking up for tahajjud may not be enjoyable because you're missing sleep. You may wake up grumpy. You may wake up tired. You may wake up with a short fuse. All of those things. But you do it for the sake of Allah until you taste the sweetness of it. This is something we need to develop with our children. Put them on a schedule. Have them recite Quran. They see you recite Quran. Have them recite Quran. They may not like it. Do those things. And one of the best way to teach them about overindulgence is showing them how people who are less fortunate live. Look at how people who are less fortunate live. I tend this picture is a picture of a Syrian camp after the earthquake, I believe. I'll tell you a story. I heard a khatib yesterday. I'll tell you his story. I'll tell you what he said. Something he watched in a documentary yesterday or Thursday night. I'll tell you a story. I went into Pakistan. So he went to Pakistan. Yes, he remembers this story. We went to Pakistan. And one morning we went for a drive to the old city. We went to a drive to the old city. And the old city, in that morning, they were putting out garbage. People just put out their garbage, more like they threw their garbage on the streets. They threw it on the street. Or I guess the garbage collectors to come and pick it up. So we stopped to observe something. We stopped to observe actually a street barber. There was a boy though. There was a 12-year-old, let's say 12, perhaps 11-year-old boy, 12, 13-year-old boy. He was rummaging through the garbage. He's rummaging through the garbage, looking for, I guess, bottles, plastic bottle, whatever. He was disheveled. He was disheveled. So one of the brothers I was with, Hasib, went and he gave him something. Probably the equivalent, what was it? The equivalent of what? 50 cents? What was it? What was the equivalent of what you gave?
Yeah, see, it must have been about 35 cents. Less
35
than 50
cents. There's 35 cents. And he was bending, he was squatting, rummaging through the garbage. So when he gave him that equivalent of 35, you know what 35 cents is? Most people, if a quarter is on the ground here, will not even think twice about bending over. Not think twice. They will not bend over. They would have to think twice about it, whether to bend over to pick it up or not, because it's trivial to us. It's trivial. Here, I'm talking about my environment that I live. Trivial to us. 10 cents, 5 cents on the ground, trivial. Most people just walk away from picking it up. 35 cents to this boy. When he received it, he stood up and he smiled. He smiled with a smile that the entire dunya was something that smiled with him. The smile was as if you gave him $1 million. That's a smile. That's the smile. That I would never forget that, because of what is the worth of this world? What is the worth of this world? That is what our children need to see. They need to see. They need to see how children don't have shoes and they're walking outside. And when they need to use the bathroom, they use the side of the road, because they don't have clean bathrooms with nice tiles and nice perfume in it and a nice picture on the wall. You know, the bathroom is sometimes better than living room, some bathrooms. You know, our children need to see that, because they need to see how less fortunate people live. The Prophet ﷺ saw it. He was surrounded by it his entire life, more so when he was young. He was surrounded by it. He was an orphan, the Prophet ﷺ. He went to that village. He saw it firsthand. He saw it firsthand. There was obviously there's blessings that came because of him to that village, but he saw how delightful and how sharing they were. He saw it, the Prophet ﷺ.